Hey everybody, Happy New Year. It is Rick Valenzi with the Financial Zen Group bringing you your first Financial Zen tutorial of 2018. It's going to be a good year, guys. I can just feel it. This tutorial is going to be a slight repeat of one that I did a while back when your first performance reports came out. Your Q4 2017 performance reports are about to be dropped in your Financial Zen vault. And so I thought it would be a good time to just take another take on everything that is on your performance report. My goal with those is to make them as clear and as pertinent and meaningful to you as possible. And so I want to make sure that everything is clear and concise for you. So let's take a quick look at a couple samples. I'm going to keep this tutorial short and sweet. All right, so this is the Smith household. This is from July 1st to the end of the year, right? So for the last 6 months. The performance reports are meant to read like a newspaper. So the most important stuff and the things that I get asked most about are at the top. And then the further down you get, the deeper into the details you will get as well. So right off the top, question I'm asked most often in regards to investment performance is, what have I given you and how much is it worth now? So here we have right off the top, the brown line is whatever you've put into your accounts with me and only with me, and how much, and the blue line is how much they are worth today. So everything in between here is the growth of these accounts. So the Smiths are probably pretty happy, as are most of you, because last year was an awfully good year in the market, an unusually good year in the markets. So short and sweet, right? Next up, we got the performance table. So these are a breakdown on a per account basis and the actual percentages of what you've earned for each period. So the period will always be for the last 6 months. Okay. The last year, in this case, will be all of 2017, right? So like I said, last year was an unusually good year. The Smiths got, about 20% in their growth accounts. Which is about on par with what you would expect for last year. And then lastly, we have the since inception date, which will just get longer and longer and longer the more years that we work together. And then what the at inception date actually is. All right. So like I said, getting further into the details. Next up, there's the activity summary. And this is just a breakdown of what you started with, right? Everything that's come in and out of your accounts. It also, I'm very clear and upfront about what you're paying me. Those are these advisory fees. Miscellaneous charges. This is just a one-time fee that Schwab charged some of my clients for swapping out of the Wells Fargo portfolios into the new and improved Schwab portfolios. And then the fun part is these two numbers. Okay, the dividends and capital gains and the market value increase. That's the money that you've grown over the last year. So in the Smith's case, they put in 115 and they earned about 24,000, 25,000 last year. So again, not a bad year. And then we get just deeper and deeper into the actual allocation. This is the pieces of the pie that the Smiths have within their portfolio. We got a little bit of pieces of a bunch of different pieces of a bunch of different investments rather, because we don't know what any asset class, what any one ingredient will do in any one year. So we just own a whole bunch of them, right? And last year just so happens that most of them did pretty darn well. And then next, I dedicate an entire section to what you're paying me. My former employer hid the fees that you paid me on the very last page of a document that you received once per year. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that you feel like you're getting a good value for your money. And so I'm very upfront and center with what you're paying me to do everything that I do for you. And this is a per month basis of what the Smiths have paid me. Okay? All right. And then lastly, we get into just an account by account basis. So up top, that was the household level. Now we break it down. This is just Jane's contributory IRA, right? So same information that we saw up top. Little additional information. Here's a breakdown of each asset class, each investment that we have within the portfolio, and what that did. And the intention here is to show you that each one does something different every year, right? Then we get into the activity summary, and then lastly, we get into the benchmark comparison. This is just a combination of, so Jane is in an aggressive growth portfolio. I have a similar portfolio constructed for the benchmark. The blue line is the actual benchmark. The green line is her actual account value. And as is to be expected, it's going to be just slightly below the benchmark because those are the fees that are being taken out for your advisory fees. So you're always going to be just slightly below the benchmark at any given point. And that's pretty much it. Now, I want to show you one last thing. If you are retired or close to retirement, you will see at the top here in your allocation a large green section. Those are the bonds that we have set aside for your living expenses. So you're going to have one more level of detail, which is right below that. This is the bonds that we hold, and when they mature, the maturity year is when they mature. That's the money that you'll be living off of, right? And then the units is how much is actually maturing that year. So the Smiths have $81,000 maturing in 2 years, which will be for their living expenses in 2020. So we're always a year ahead. And that's it. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. If you want more detail, there's plenty more we can get into. Just send me an email, send me a note, let me know, and we can schedule something. Otherwise, enjoy your Q4 2017 performance reports, and I hope you're having a good year so far. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.